Welcome to the second episode of Marriage is a Scam with a cherry on top. I said the second episode. So if you didn't watch the first episode, you're a virgin. But guess what? You still have to go back and watch the first episode so you don't float because this is like kind of the second part of the first episode. My name is Getrude Mungai and I'm a lifestyle designer on sex and relationships. I am here to spice you up. So, for the virgins in the house, let me explain why my podcast is called Marriage is a Scam with a Cherry on Top. Like we talked about last week, there's a lot of negativity about marriage, and I'm listening. I do not want to sit here and pretend like I'm oblivious of what is going on in a marriage. Many people are feeling scammed, and with good reasons. Like the lady who sent us the audio, which we are going to listen to it again because there were 5 issues. We only dealt with issue 1, which was number 2. Today we'll deal with 3 issues. Issue number 1, issue number 3, and issue number 4. Number 5 will be for next week because it's heavy. I need to give it the attention it deserves. So I'm here to justify. Marriage is not a scam. That's why there's the cherry on top. If it is, why is everybody getting into it? Which means there's something good about it. You just need to find it. And I'm here to help you navigate through all these issues. Okay? So, let's get started, people. And I'm going to play the clip again. The audio again. So at least you understand, for the virgins in the house, you understand exactly what I am talking about. Let's listen to this next lady. I wish I'd given her a name, but I didn't. But it's all good. Here we go, good people.
Hi, Getrude. I really liked the sex contract idea. Still trying to figure out how I'll implement it. I'm struggling with the fact that my partner is not as goal-oriented as I would like him to be, which means if I have to build the life I envision for my family, I have to do a lot of heavy lifting. What this does is it makes me operate more in my masculine rather than feminine energy, and I find myself feeling resentment because I would also like to be led more. I'm very direct in how I deliver what I have to say, and of late I would rather be quiet because when I say it, it doesn't land properly and I feel not much changed while the resentment continues to build. This situation ends up killing the connection for me and making the relationship flat, as this is something that I value and isn't being met. Him taking more leadership. Is there hope, or I just accept it as what it is?
Just like I said last week, there is hope. This marriage is not doomed. There are worse marriages than what this lady is talking about. But these are issues nevertheless. So last week, we dealt with feminine energy and masculine energy. You really have to watch if you haven't watched. Today, we are going to pick issue number 1, which is I'm struggling with the fact that my partner is not as goal-oriented as I would like him to be. Which means if I have to build the marriage I envision for myself, I have to do a lot of heavy lifting. We'll talk about that today. And we'll also talk about, and I find myself feeling resentment because I would also like to be led more. We'll talk about that today. And the last, fourth, not least the last, there's a 5th one, like I said, we'll do it next week. This week, we are also talking about, I am very direct in how I deliver what I have to say. And of late, I would rather be quiet because when I say it, it doesn't land properly. And I feel not much has changed while the resentment continues to build. Oh my goodness. I tell you, these are real issues in marriages. Okay? And many times, not so many women have marriage stamina to seek solution, to go find ways of making it work to so many people. Actually, To so many people, they give up, they pack their bags and leave, and that's not how to go. When you get into a marriage, it's for the longest haul. I don't think there's anyone who gets married to get a divorce. Honestly, no one gets married to get a divorce. Okay? And that's why so many people are feeling scammed. As in, they're not getting what they expected to get in a marriage. And it's not just everyone who gets married and live in a fairy tale world that they'll be romanced, there'll be wine, they'll be dined. There's that. But there's also reality of the marriage. So this lady is struggling. And let me just remind you what she said. I'm struggling with the fact that my partner is not as goal-oriented as I would like him to be. Which means if I have to build the life I envision for my family, I have to do the heavy lifting. This is why she's feeling scammed. Okay? Let me just tell you. I always know if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You have to be very intentional in everything. And majority of the women, they would prefer if they plan for the future, the life they envision with their husbands or with their partners. What happens if that doesn't happen? So this is what I would say. The ideal situation is for a husband and wife to sit down and plan for the future together. But some men, some women, they don't see it that way. They love to let it roll. They're not intentional. And you get into a lot of trouble if you ask me. Let me tell you the benefits of planning for the family. Let me give you the benefits. Okay? I think my Wi-Fi was on. We don't want people to start calling me while I'm having this kind of deep conversations with you. So benefits, this I'm even going to read. So at least you don't see it's from my head. It is how it's supposed to be. It goes without saying. If you plan, planning provides a guide for action. It guides you. You've planned for this. So what do you need to do for your family to be where you want it to be? Planning also is, it can direct everyone's action towards desired outcome. You want your kids to leave the country when they finish their high school. You needed to have planned for that. Not they finish their exam and then you start running around fundraising for further education. Imagine me, I don't pay for somebody's child to go abroad. You needed to have planned for that. And I'm not being mean. Hospital bills, I will help you because it's unexpected. Okay, whether you have an insurance or not, we know how things are. I will help you with that. But to take your kid for higher education, I don't think so. It means you did not plan. Yeah, and the worst is when a husband plans separately from the wife. So by the end of the day, these kids have two schools to go to. One organized by the dad and one organized. I mean, what are we doing? Sometimes, some of these problems are man-made. And they start running all over the place, saying you're being scammed. Planning allows for flexibility. You're kind of flexible. I mean, if there's anything Corona taught us, your plans can be blown out of proportion. I agree. But if there was a plan, you have a guide. So it's really important for us to plan. Now, for this particular lady, if your husband is not that kind of a man to sit, for one reason or another, to sit down and plan, he loves having fun. He's just letting things roll. And there's nothing good is going to come up to that. This is what I'll tell you. Get help. For me, most of the time, because you second guess, and I can tell you, if there's a man listening to this, you don't sit down to plan with your wife. We second guess ourselves. Because there's that danger of me going ahead and plan, because somebody has to do this planning. If you don't do it, she will pick it up and she will plan. But there's this danger that she plans and then it doesn't work out. It backfires. Then it brings a whole hula baloo into the marriage. This is what I'll tell you. Because majority of the women, and if there's a lady listening to me, majority of the women, they go on getting other people to help them plan. No bad intention intended. Okay? Go sit down with a guy who looks like he's got it together, looks like he's planning for his family, getting some tips, They sit down, they plan, and every time there's an issue or something needs to be planned, he goes to that. Let me tell you, that disaster waiting to happen. It's not right for you as a woman to plan with another man, whether you have designs or not, because this is what happens. That's how you start having emotional affair. And we can talk deeply about it later on. You get hooked, you start admiring this man because he's stepping in where your husband is not. And before you realize, you desire him in a deeper way than just planning. Why even set yourself up for this kind of situations? For me, I have an older woman in my life who's been working with me. If I'm second guessing and I'm thinking my husband is not cooperative, for checks and balance, I go to her. As most of the time, she puts me in my place. And she's like, stop being lazy. You need to bring this across to your husband. Because I know him. And she does. And I'm sent back. And I'm forced, to play all sorts of tricks. Trust me, I've communicated with my husband. Sometimes I need to have different positions and maybe do it in different location. And you know what I'm talking about. But at least he hears me. Then whatever it is, it gets sorted. And sometimes he doesn't get it. And it hurts. It's okay, I can let it go if it's something trivial. But if it's something that he needs to step in and make a decision and he doesn't, I go ahead and make. But before I do that, imagine I leave a paper trail. I send an SMS, I send a WhatsApp, I send an email. Sometimes I've had to do a PowerPoint presentation because it's that important. But my favorite part is when I organize for a sex holiday. No, for a sex picnic. Bring him to my game where I always win. Or maybe not. He listens. A sex picnic always works for Mr. Mungai. I don't know about yours. What I'm saying is, if something needs to be done, I leave a paper trail. And still, I feel very strongly, and he's not stepping up. I go ahead and do it. And later on, when he comes throwing tantrum, which he did, now he knows better. He knows if he doesn't participate, it will get done. So I show him, I did send you a message, a WhatsApp. I even sent you an email. This decision needed to be made. You're not there to make it. I went ahead and I made it. Because when your husband is not doing this for one reason or another, life doesn't stop. Bills accumulate. Opportunity pass you by. You lose on great opportunities just because somebody is not cooperative. Maybe you guys are fighting and he doesn't know how to handle. Or sometimes it's got nothing to do with you. So things need to be done. I know, like I said, the ideal situation is to sit down and do it. But if he doesn't, well, somebody has to do it and go ahead and do it. Okay? I hope I've given you a solution for this particular problem. And you're able to do it without complaining, And you're right. If you keep doing this and your husband is not there to support you, you will feel resentment, which brings us to the third issue. Okay, the third issue is, and I find myself feeling resentment because I would also like to be led more. Remember when you talked about feminine energy and masculine energy? Maybe he's not that kind of a person. And sometimes, majority of the men, they know. And they don't even fight for it. They let you make the decision because they know you're stronger in that particular area. So why are you feeling resentment? Is he fighting you on it? Or it's just not his thing? Like I said, one of the things we're going to address here is the men we marry and the women we marry. We do a background check on the people we have married. Then maybe this is going to be so easy and you will not be resentful. Okay? Don't force. If it's not their stronger points, and the fact that you're a smart woman, for you to have identified these issues, you're smart. The fact that your husband is not stepping up for this, there must be a lot more he's doing. Concentrate on that. Because these issues are not worth breaking your marriage. And I don't think you're being scammed either. You just need to have a bit more maturity or marriage stamina. Let me not say maturity. You just need to have marriage stamina. And these are some of the things I cover in my classes. I call them mke na uke. Uke ni busara. You need to have certain maturity for you to be able to do this with grace, with your head high up, without feeling like, hey, who am I? Who did I marry? Did I marry a man or a woman? This conversation doesn't even come to play. Pick it up. You don't have to be resentful. Concentrate on his strongest points and run with it. Like I said in the last episode, if all you have in your hands is a hammer, all you see is nails. I'm not seeing any nails here. Just different people built differently. You can make it work. Okay? So the fourth point. I am very direct in how I deliver what I have to say. And of late, I would rather be quiet because when I say it, it doesn't land properly. And I feel not much changes and the resentment builds up. I hear you. But on the flip side, okay, how exactly are you delivering? Because I feel like resentment, you are a little bit upset, and so this is what I feel, okay, and I hope you listen, okay. Many times when husband and wife are in this kind of situation, there's a bit of starvation going around. And I'm going to talk about two types of starvation. One, sexual starvation, and two, emotional starvation. So here I feel like you're resenting this guy because you're feeling you're emotionally starved. He's not meeting you at your point of need. You want to be led. You want somebody to plan with. So you're resenting him because you're feeling like he's not meeting you at your point of need. And I can only imagine because of your resentment. So there's a bit of sexual starvation going on. You're not giving yourself, fully to your husband in the bedroom. You're not having enough sex. Okay? So he's holding back because he's sexually starved. You're holding back and resenting him because you don't feel like you have a partner to make all those decisions for you. You need to decide. Okay? The more you hold back sexually, what makes you think that he's not resenting you either? The way you hold back sexually, the way he will hold back emotionally. And then everybody's going to feel schemed and scammed. So what is the cherry on top? Get a mediator if you have to. Or listen to what I'm saying. Okay? Sex him up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oversex him. Sometimes. This when I'm so glad I'm talking to you through a screen. If you throw stones, you can only break your TV or your laptop. Come on, guys. Marriage is not a scam. We just take hard stands. So my cherry on top and my solution for you is this. Okay? Do this, brother. Upside down, inside out. By the roadside. Okay, just maybe not by the roadside. We don't want you arrested. But just swallow your pride. Okay, it's not even pride. This is your husband at the end of the day. You're still going to have sex. Make it count. Make it count. Mpikie jikoni, mpakulie chumbani ama kitandani. Yeah, just put your resentment aside. Kidogo tu. You can pick it up later if this doesn't work out. What do you have to lose? Okay? Forget about all these things he's not doing. Concentrate on all those things you can do it. And you know what? How powerful. We women are so powerful. Because we can have 3 forms of sex. You can have one which you fail. And you can have one to keep him quiet. And you can have one to bribe and to get him to see things your way. You can do it. We've all done it. Maybe you just didn't have a name for it. And it's fun. Manake, you're playing the brother. You can dress up for it. You know what he likes. The thing is, women, we know our men and we know what they like and we know what we can do to get them to listen or to get them talking. And don't call it bribing. Or you can. I really don't care. At the end of the day, everybody's doing it differently. Yeah. And like I said, you're not doing this to the next door neighbor. You're doing this to your husband. So plan for these sex capades. Plan for it. Do it. Start with food, then go a number of rounds. Get him to a point where he's calm. He's feeling appreciated. He's feeling loved. He's feeling you. Then bring them up. Okay? Listen to what he says. Because right now, he's not up in arms. He's not sexually starved. Because I'm telling you, when a man is sexually starved, you can't get anywhere with him. He looks at you and he just see how mean you are, how much, and how, and that's what so many men say, or many people say, many times women use sex as a weapon. I don't think so. But sometimes you just don't have it in you to even give yourself to your man. Yeah? So try my way and see what happens. And then when you bring this conversation, listen to what he says. What are his reasoning? Yeah? And many times at this particular point, men open up and you get to know why he's doing the things he's doing. Because at this particular time, he has no reason to fight you. You've given him the food for the tummy and food for the soul. He's in his best. Or he will be able to open up. If he doesn't, I'm not saying it's bulletproof that actually when you do this, it will work your way. If he doesn't, then you really know you have a decision to make. Do you even want to stick to this kind of marriage? Somebody who doesn't do anything. Because sometimes some men are done. They're just there because, you're there. But you'll see it clearly. What I'm saying is, most of the time marriage is not a scam. We just don't know how to go about things. With a bit of mediation and a lot of watching this particular episode, we are in business. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're going to subscribe. Please do. We have a lot to talk about. And follow me on my Instagram. Follow me on my Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me everywhere other than at home. My name is Getrude Mungai. I'll see you later.